Alright, let's get into it. No fluff, no BS. You're here because you've got that fire in your belly, that itch, that thing telling you to build something of your own. You want to be an entrepreneur. I get it. I live and breathe it every single day. But here's the stone-cold truth a lot of people won't tell you. Most of you are going to fail. Not because you're not smart, not because you don't have a good idea, but because you're going to make mistakes. Simple, avoidable mistakes that will absolutely crush your dreams before they even get off the ground. So listen up, I'm about to give you the real deal playbook. We're talking about the top 5 mistakes that I see first-time entrepreneurs make over and over and over again. This isn't theoretical classroom garbage. This is practical, actionable advice from the trenches. This is the stuff that will save you time, save you money, and most importantly, save you from the soul-crushing pain of looking back and thinking, if only I knew. I'm going to break down each mistake and tell you exactly how to sidestep it like a pro. Pay very, very close attention because what I'm sharing today is the difference between being a statistic and being a success story. I want every single one of you watching to win. That's my only agenda. And for those of you who stick around who really absorb this, I've got a bonus tip at the end. It's the one thing that if you truly understand it will change the entire game for you. So get your notepad, shut out the noise, and let's go. The number one killer of startups, bar none, is this fantasy you've built in your head. You have an idea for an app, a product, a service, and you're obsessed with it. You spend months, maybe years, perfecting it in your basement. You're convinced it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're in love with your solution. And that, right there, is the kiss of death. Because you never stop to ask the most important question. Who the hell actually has the problem you think you're solving? You're so focused on the what that you completely ignore the who and the why. You're building a key without ever checking to see if there's a lock it fits. It's pure ego. It's you assuming you know what the market wants without having a single real conversation. You think you're Steve Jobs, but you haven't earned the right to have that level of intuition yet. You need to get out of your own head and into the real world. The market doesn't care about your beautiful code, your slick design, or your clever branding if it doesn't solve a real painful problem for a real group of people. Your idea, in a vacuum, is worth precisely zero. Its value is directly tied to its ability to alleviate a pain point for somebody else. And the only way to find that out is to go talk to them. So here's your homework. It's not optional. Before you write a single line of code, before you spend $1 on a prototype, you need to go talk to at least 50 potential customers. Not your mom, not your best friend who's going to tell you you're a genius. I mean real unbiased strangers who fit your ideal customer profile. Ask them about their problems, their frustrations, their daily struggles in the area you're targeting. Listen more than you talk. Don't pitch your idea. I repeat, do not pitch your idea. Just listen. Ask open-ended questions. Tell me about the last time you tried to do X. What's the most annoying part of Y? If you had a magic wand to fix Z, what would it do? You're mining for pain points. You're looking for patterns in their language, for the emotion in their voice when they describe a problem. Once you find that consistent, nagging problem, then and only then do you have permission to start thinking about a solution. And even then, you don't go build the whole damn thing. You build the smallest, scrappiest version possible. An MVP, a minimum viable product. Something you can put in their hands in a week, not a year. A landing page, a spreadsheet, a simple prototype. The goal isn't to launch a perfect product. The goal is to get something, anything, into the market to validate that people will actually pull out their credit cards for what you're offering. You need to validate demand before you even think about scaling. You need proof, not just a passion project. Stop building in the dark. Turn on the lights by talking to your customers. Let me be crystal clear. If you skip this step, you are gambling. You are betting your time, your money, and your sanity on a guess. The greatest entrepreneurs aren't the biggest risk takers. They're the best at de-risking their ideas. And this, talking to users, building an MVP, and validating demand, is how you take the guesswork out of the equation and start building a real business on a solid foundation. Alright, let's talk about the second biggest dream killer, the hero complex. The I'll do it myself mentality. You're the CEO, the marketer, the salesperson, the coder, the accountant, and the janitor. You think you're saving money, you think you're maintaining control. But what you're actually doing is building your own prison. You're becoming the single biggest bottleneck in your own company. I see it every day. Entrepreneurs who are grinders, who have incredible work ethic, but they're grinding on the wrong things. They're spending 8 hours figuring out a piece of code that a real developer could do in 30 minutes. They're trying to design a logo when they have zero design sense. They're answering every customer service email personally instead of building a system. It's completely ass backwards. Your time as a founder is your single most valuable asset. And if you're spending it on $10 an hour tasks, you are fundamentally failing at your job. Your job is to focus on the highest leverage activities, setting the vision, building the team, getting the product right, and bringing in the money. That's it. Everything else is a distraction that's slowly but surely leading you to burnout. You will burn out. It's not a matter of if, but when. You can't sustain working 100-hour weeks doing everything. Your progress will slow to a crawl, your decision-making will suffer, your health will decline, and your business will stagnate. You're not a superhero. You're a human being with a finite amount of energy and a finite number of hours in the day. Acknowledging that isn't weakness, it's strategic intelligence. So, what's the move? You need to get over your ego and your control issues and start building a team. And I don't just mean hiring people. I mean finding people who are smarter than you at the things you suck at. If you're a visionary product person, you need to find a detail-oriented operator who can execute. If you're a killer salesperson, you need a technical co-founder who can build. Look for complementary skill sets. And if you can't afford to hire full-time yet, outsource. Smartly. Use platforms like Upwork or Fiverr for specific tasks. Hire a freelance bookkeeper, a virtual assistant, a marketing consultant. Stop trying to learn every single skill from scratch. Leverage the expertise of others so you can focus on what you do best. Your goal is to buy back your time. Once you have people, whether they're co-founders, employees, or freelancers, you have to set crystal clear roles and responsibilities. Who owns what? Who is the final decision maker on marketing, on product features, on finances? Ambiguity creates chaos and kills momentum. Define the lanes and then trust your people to drive in them. Micromanaging is for insecure leaders. If you've hired the right people, you need to get the hell out of their way and let them do their jobs. Empower them. Give them ownership. Your role is to provide the vision and the resources and then hold them accountable for the results. Stop being the hero who does everything. Start being the leader who builds a team of heroes. That's how you scale. That's how you win. This one drives me absolutely insane. You're trying to build a business, a for-profit enterprise, yet you treat your finances like there's some mystical, unknowable force. You say things like, "I'm not a numbers person, let me be blunt." That is the single dumbest excuse in the book. If you're not a numbers person, you have no business being an entrepreneur. Period. End of story. You can have the best product in the world, the most amazing team, and a marketing engine that's on fire. But if you don't understand your money, you are flying a plane straight into a mountain with no instruments and a blindfold on. It is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. Running out of cash is not some random event that happens to you. It's the direct result of your ignorance and neglect. So many of you are operating on pure hope. You hope you have enough money in the bank. You hope your sales will cover your expenses next month. You hope you'll be able to make payroll. Hope is not a strategy, it's a fantasy. You need to get intimate with your numbers. You need to know them better than you know your own family. Cash flow is the lifeblood of your business. It's the oxygen. Without it, everything dies. And you need to be tracking it obsessively. Not once a quarter when your accountant sends you a report, not once a month. You need to be looking at your cash flow weekly. Every single week you should know exactly how much money came in, how much went out, and what your current bank balance is. Here's the practical, actionable plan. Sit down today, not tomorrow, today, and create a realistic budget. And I mean realistic. Don't just pull numbers out of thin air. Research your costs. How much for software, for marketing, for salaries, for rent. Be conservative with your revenue projections and aggressive with your expense estimates. It's always better to be pleasantly surprised than devastatingly broke. Next, build a simple cash flow forecast. A spreadsheet is all you need. Map out your expected income and expenses for the next 6 to 12 months. This is your runway. Your runway is the number of months you can survive before you run out of money if your income suddenly dropped to zero. You need to know this number at all times. It dictates every decision you make. Knowing you have a 12-month runway allows you to make long-term strategic bets. Knowing you only have a 3-month runway tells you that you need to cut costs and focus exclusively on revenue-generating activities right now. It's your business's health monitor. Ignoring it is like ignoring a heart attack. Stop making excuses. You don't need an MBA from Harvard to do this. You need a spreadsheet, some discipline, and a willingness to face reality. If you truly hate it, fine, hire a part-time bookkeeper or a fractional CFO, but even then, you still need to be the one who understands the reports they give you. You can delegate the task, but you can never, ever delegate the understanding. Get your head out of the sand and get into your spreadsheet. This might be the most romantic and fatally flawed idea in all of entrepreneurship, the field of dreams myth. You believe that if you just build a truly great product, the world will beat a path to your door. Customers will magically appear, trumpets will sound, and money will rain from the heavens. It's a beautiful story. It's also complete and utter garbage. Let me tell you what actually happens. You spend a year in your cave building the perfect product. You launch. You send an email to your 10 friends, you post on your personal Facebook page, and then... crickets. Absolute silence. Nobody comes. Because nobody knows you exist, and nobody cares. You didn't do the work to make them care. Marketing and sales are not afterthoughts. They are not things you bolt on at the end. They are core functions of the business from day one. From the very first day you have the idea, you should be thinking about how you're going to get it in front of people. Building an audience is just as important, if not more important, than building the product itself. The biggest mistake is waiting until you're ready to launch to start marketing. That is way too late. The game is already lost. You need to start marketing before you have a product. Marketing what, you ask? You market the problem. You market the vision. You market the journey. You build a community of people who are invested in the problem you're solving long before you ask them to buy your solution. Start a blog, start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, post valuable content on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever your potential customers hang out. Document your process, share what you're learning. Give away your best ideas for free. Become the go-to resource, the trusted authority in your niche. Build an email list from day one. An email list is an asset you own, unlike your social media following. At the same time, you need to be building a sales process. Sales isn't a dirty word. It's the process of helping someone solve their problem. You need to figure out how you're going to find leads, how you're going to qualify them, how you're going to present your offer, and how you're going to close the deal. Even if your process at first is just you sending DMs and getting on Zoom calls, you need to have a process, and you have to test everything. Don't just assume you know which channels will work. Run small, cheap experiments. Spend $50 on Facebook ads, spend $50 on Google ads, send 50 cold emails, post 10 different types of content, see what gets a response. Look at the data. What's resonating? What's falling flat? Double down on what works and cut what doesn't. The work of marketing and sales never stops. It's a constant grind. It's about showing up consistently, providing value, building relationships, and being patient. The product doesn't sell itself. You do. Your marketing does. Your sales process does. Stop hiding behind your code and start getting in front of your customers. Build in public. Market from day one. That's how you avoid launching to an empty stadium. This last one is a tightrope walk, and I see new entrepreneurs fall off on both sides. On one side, you have the stubborn, egotistical founder who is completely deaf to feedback. They're so in love with their own vision that they dismiss any and all criticism. A customer points out a major flaw and they say, they just don't get it. Their team raises red flags and they say, they don't see the big picture. This is arrogance, and it's deadly. Ignoring legitimate feedback is like driving with your eyes closed and your fingers in your ears. The market is giving you clues. It's giving you a roadmap to success, and you're choosing to ignore it. You're clinging to your original idea so tightly that you're going to suffocate it. This path leads to building a product that nobody wants, alienating your team, and ultimately failing because of your own hubris. On the other side of the tightrope, you have the people pleaser. The founder who is so desperate for validation that they listen to everyone. Every single piece of feedback sends them scurrying in a new direction. One customer wants a new feature, so they drop everything to build it. A random person on Twitter makes a negative comment and they question their entire business model. This is just as dangerous. When you listen to everyone, you listen to no one. You end up building a Frankenstein's monster of a product, a cluttered, unfocused mess of features that tries to be everything to everyone and ends up being nothing to anyone. You lose your core vision, your product loses its identity, and you're constantly chasing the whims of the crowd instead of leading with a clear point of view. So how do you walk this tightrope? You need a filter. You have to learn to filter feedback by its source and its substance. First, consider the source. Is this feedback coming from an ideal customer who has actually used your product? That's high-value feedback. Is it coming from a random troll on the internet? That's low value. Is it from a trusted advisor who understands your market? High value. Is it from your uncle who still uses a flip phone? Low value. Second, don't react to individual data points. Look for patterns. One person complaining about something is an anecdote. 10 people complaining about the same thing is data. You're not looking for one-off comments, you're looking for recurring themes. Are multiple users getting stuck on the same screen? Is the same question coming up over and over in customer support? These are the signals in the noise. Once you've identified a pattern from a credible source, you need to weigh it against your core vision. Does this feedback align with the problem you're trying to solve and the audience you're trying to serve? Will acting on it make your product better for your ideal customer, or will it distract you and add bloat? Your job as a founder is to hold the vision, but with open hands. Be stubborn on the vision, but flexible on the details. Listen intently to your customers and your market, filter their feedback through the lens of your strategy, and have the conviction to say no to the things that pull you off course. Be a discerning listener, not a deaf mule or a spineless people pleaser. That's the balance that leads to a product people truly love. So there you have it, the 5 landmines that blow up most startups: chasing a solution without a problem, trying to be Superman, ignoring your numbers, marketing as an afterthought, and failing at feedback. Avoiding these isn't just good advice, it's the cost of entry. It's the baseline for giving yourself a fighting chance in this brutal, beautiful game. Look, the path is hard, there are no shortcuts, but knowing where the traps are is a massive, massive advantage. Use it. And now, for the bonus tip I promised you, this is the one that ties it all together. Are you ready? Don't wait for everything to be perfect, just start. Seriously, that's it. Stop waiting for the perfect idea, the perfect co-founder, the perfect market conditions, the perfect logo. Perfection is a myth. It's a form of procrastination dressed up in a fancy suit. The real winners, the people who actually build things, are the ones who start small, learn as fast as humanly possible, and iterate constantly. Your journey starts now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Take one small step today. Go talk to one potential customer. Sketch out a one-page business plan. Buy the domain name. Do something, anything, to move the ball forward. The momentum you build from taking action is the most powerful force in the universe. Stop thinking, stop planning in circles, and start doing. Avoid these mistakes, embrace the grind, and go make something happen. I'm watching.